Welcome to the Vodcast for topic 5, electricity and magnetism. The first section of this topic is 5.1 electric fields, and we'll start by looking at what the concept of charge and electric field is. This is a list of all of the understandings and skills in this section, of which we'll be looking at the ones in bold. And this is a photograph of a young girl. She's in Mumbai at the Museum of Science and Technology, and something weird is happening to her hair. What is that? Well, in order to understand what's happening to her hair, you need to have the concept of charge. In case you haven't met this earlier in your school career, charge is a property of all matter, a bit like mass. Unlike mass, which every object possesses, some objects are charged, some objects are not charged. Objects that are not charged are called neutral. And charge itself comes into varieties, positive and negative. If you have two charged objects that are relatively near to each other, technically this happens at any distance, but it gets a lot weaker with greater distances. But if you have these two charged objects, they will exert a force on each other. If their charges are opposite, then the force will be attractive, and if the charges are the same, either two positives or two negatives, then they will repel. So you have this idea of an electric field being the volume of space in which two charges can affect each other. As I have said just now and implied, that is actually an infinite field. In fact, there is just one electric field, really, to think about it. But this only has a noticeable effect over relatively short distances. Charge itself has the symbol Q, either uppercase or lowercase, generally lowercase. As I said, it comes in positive and negative forms, and it is a conserved quantity. You might have an object which you say is neutral, but when you break it apart, then some parts of it might be neutral, some parts of it might be positive, and some parts might be negative, but the positive will balance out the negative if the original was neutral. The total amount of charge is constant. And charge can be measured. It is measured in units called coulombs. Coulombs have a definition, but actually we'll look at that definition in a little bit more detail later. To quickly do an experiment, one that you can do in your own home or in the science lab, if you take a balloon and you rub the balloon against a fabric, then often what you'll find is that this balloon will be attracted to the fabric, or even attracted to a wall. To try and explain what's happening, we can show the charges. The balloon, the wall and the fabric are all neutral. However, these electrons can quite easily be transferred between different substances by friction, by rubbing them. So if I rub the balloon on the jumper, you'll see it now has a majority positive charge, whereas the balloon now has a majority negative charge. Hence, it's attracted negative to positive. And because the balloon has an overall negative charge, if I bring it close to the wall, it pushes some of those negative charges away, which means the bit of a wall next to the balloon is overall positive charge, and again, negative balloon, positive bit of wall, it's attracted. This is a device called a Van de Graaff generator. This is the largest set of Van de Graaff generators in the world, in public display at least, which is at a museum in Boston, USA. So a Van de Graaff generator, it's actually not totally easy how it works. I'll link a video explaining that. But basically a belt going between two rollers transfers charge by transferring electrons, as we've seen, and the overall result is that the dome at the top of the generator acquires a positive charge. And if you touch that, then electrons will go from you to that dome to try and balance out that positive charge, which means that you will have an overall positive charge, including your hair. And your hair is light enough that it will be affected by these relatively small forces. And hence every bit of hair, every strand of hair coated with positive charge will repel every other strand of hair. Thank you very much.